Alright, what is up guys? Professor Akali here, bringing you a new video of all of the most advanced mechanics and combos for Akali. I've never really put into one video, but these are going to be the most difficult or just the most practical high-level mechanics that you can use to win every single game as Akali. Some of these I've never even mentioned in a video before, but I used it so often that I think it's time to finally make a video on it. So you know what, without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. We are going to be going straight into the action. So the first thing I want to mention is I believe I actually kind of discovered like this really awesome bug with Akali's EQ. So basically, if you guys know, there is this thing you can do. Well, I didn't even do it right, but you can like get your perfect passive proc by essentially just like being at the very tip of your Q. If you didn't know that either, that's a thing as well. You don't have to like run out of the circle if you're in the right perfect spot, but that's not practical. But I kind of discovered that you can do this thing where essentially you just E and then Q, and for some reason it seems to work way too often. And what I'd assume the reason is, I was watching back and looking at how I tried to explain this mechanic and it was terrible. It gave me a headache, so I'm going to explain it again. Basically, League of Legends assumes your character model is at the beginning of where you casted your E dash, whereas your Q registers at the proper place. So basically, your passive proc, the circle, when you hit your Q, it is a certain range, right? A certain circle range. Well, League of Legends still thinks that because you're in the middle of casting your E, you're outside of that circle range. It's so insanely OP. Probably not intended. RIP. This video's abused this before it's broken. Alright, moving on. Works every single time. So yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm going to perfectly predict or calculate, okay, so I'm going to dash 70 units backwards and then my Q is going to be right on the very tip right here. That's definitely not the case. But yeah, that's going to be the first big thing. And the bottom line is there's just a million good reasons as to why you'd be wanting to use this combo frequently. So anyways, let's move on to the next thing, and that is going to be the ER, instantly to remove delay. So in case you guys didn't know what that means, basically you can, you know, like imagine you're trying to like chase someone and like you're like ER. Well, there's a faster way. Basically, it's very tricky actually. So you have to like E and then R at like the perfect time. It's gonna take some time in practice tool because I'm not even getting it right every time, but essentially it'll save you half a second of lag on your champion. So that's definitely something worth doing. Ooh, actually landed that one. So yeah, that's just a fun little thing, and let's move on to the next fun little thing. So imagine this guy right here is a Thresh, okay? And we're going to go ahead and say that this is Vayne. You want to kill Vayne, you don't want to kill Thresh, but you can't land your thing. Your ult is down, so you have to do something tricky. Well, you can actually reposition your E with your flash. That's not too practical. You'll do that one every 20 games or so, but it's something worth mentioning, and let's move on to the next thing. So the next thing is something I use in lane often, and that is when you essentially E a minion, go for some poke, and then you fly back in lane. Fly back with your E2 in lane. You pretty much are deciding when you want to like exit the trade with that combo, or you can simply just like go in, fly in, and then fly back out. Alright guys, so this next thing is going to be extremely practical for one-shotting in a team fight situation. Imagine there's 5 enemies, right? We're just gonna spawn a few more. Alright, there's a team fight going on. You got your buddies too, but regardless, the Vayne is in the very back, right? Well, there's a certain way you can use to actually make some crazy plays, and there's 2 variations of this. So the first one I like to do is I E backwards, I hit the tank, getting my passive ready, and obviously that's not the full thing. So you get your, you hit the tank with your E, the front line with your E, you get your passive ready, and then once you're out of range, you use your R1, you fly back in, and then you go in for a full combo. Your passive proc, your Gunblade Q, and then your ult to your R2, the execution damage is already ready to go, and you're essentially going to be able to like one-shot anyone, any squishy late game, any mage, any AD carry. It's extremely practical because you are getting them out of the game in half a second. This combo right here, essentially when you land, is going to be honestly within the blink of an eye. Just whatever the time it takes for Akali to land from like to dash from here to here is going to be the time it takes. So that's going to be one of those. Also, another situation, and I do this one, I do this version often like in their base. I don't know why, but it seems to be the most practical thing. I'll land my E on the front line, and then I'll go ahead and just reposition mid E2. So like E2 is when you're dashing with your E, and then I'll just eventually like find myself flying in, but then I want to hit this guy instead. So I'll just like in the middle of my dash, I'll just switch targets because you can. So that is going to be that, and it's very useful for engaging. You're going to be doing that quite often if you think about it. So let's move on to the next thing. That is going to be the two-step tower dive combo that you do after the shroud nerfs. Right. Alright, so imagine this is a cannon you want to dive, right? So what you want to do is you want to Q in. You might take a tower shot, but that's okay. You want to go in, ultimate, hit him with your passive, and then E. You're giving your R2 time to come back in, and then you essentially want to hit him with the rest of all your spells too. But the reason why you want to do this in a two-step is because you want to give your ult time, your R2 time to come up, but you also want to do a bunch of damage in the first step to get your R2 ready to do a bunch of execution damage, because obviously it does more damage when they're low. So just to repeat that, it's you get your Q up, and then you ult in with your, hit him with the passive proc, and then you hit him with the E, and then you fly in, and you just do a bunch of damage. And normally you want to Gunblade before anything else. I just forgot. Gunblade should be at the first part of your combo. So yeah, that's going to be the tower diving combo. And moving on in this this lecture or this class. Oh, here we go. This is a really good one. So I'm gonna fly over here. I think this is something that no one really uses, but I think you should. I use this very, very often, and that is going to be the extension of your ult. You can extend both parts, the R1 and the R2. Imagine, you know, there's a carry that's so far away, and you just want to kill him. Well, it's like, ooh, oh, okay, ignore that. You can just like essentially increase the range of your ult by a ton, and be careful though, you don't want to do it too early because you're gonna waste a lot of the range your dash has, but you want to do it at the very end, just to increase its maximum capabilities. And obviously you can use your ult sideways, but really there's not much use in it unless, imagine your R2 is ready and they're both low health, and I guess you could do like this and hit both of them, but that's like pretty rare, honestly. I'm gonna say that's like a 1 in 50 game situation. So yeah, let's move on. Oh, and that is going to, the next thing is going to be Control Shift S over here, and that is going to be E over the mid river brush wall for escapes. This is a really quick one that is really practical since I play Akali mid. Maybe you don't, but you're going to be here in a lot of situations anyways. But essentially you just want to like get into this spot and like get in the habit of using this to escape, because oftentimes you will be getting ganked. I don't know, say you're blue team and then you get ganked and you're caught on the river or whatever. It's so useful to just be able to fly over this wall, because you know most champions can't, and forget about their jungler and the mid laner being able to do that. So there's a bunch of other cool ones, I guess you could say, but that's the most practical one I've found. I mean, maybe, whoa, okay, that was not intended. Maybe something like this could be cool too, but even then, that's not as practical, because if you get ganked in top lane, you're just gonna run. So yeah, that is going to be the E escape. Alright guys, so this next combo is going to be your bread and butter combo for killing people, essentially engaging in most non-flash, non-tower dive situations. But this is going to be a combo you can use to kill people when you're not fed, and that's going to be the ult 1 into the E2, or E1 rather, and then you hit him with the passive proc, you go in again, and then you can fly back in. And essentially, the bottom line is, the most important things are that you're going to go ahead and guarantee you land your E1 with your R1 stun, just because during the duration of their stun, you don't want to be able to, anyways. Another reason why that's good is because when you use your R1 or then your E1, you can actually guarantee, oh, what the heck? Get my ult up. You can guarantee that you get your next passive proc easier, because after you get the second one, the circle up, you can just fly in with your E1, and not only that, but they're also going to be essentially running away sometimes. So that's another reason why you'd want your E2 to be ready, is so if they flash over the wall or something, you can just dash right into them. And then not only that, but once you're close to them, you can also execute them with your R2. Alright guys, so this next thing I want to mention is more of like a trick or tip rather than a mechanic, but this is something that I don't see a lot of people doing, and that's going to be using your obscurity against them. Essentially, when you use your Shroud, right, say this is a Brand who's trying to kill me, I'm 2 HP, and he's trying to know where to throw his W. What I like to do actually is pop out of the brush and pop back in really quickly. So like I'll pop out like really quick here, like if I know, boom, and then he's gonna throw his W, but you have so much bonus movement speed once you go invisible or when you're in the Shroud that he's always gonna miss. He's gonna see, oh, he's on this end or she's on this end, I'm gonna throw my W there. And essentially what you can do is you can confuse the living hell out of them. It's a very good tool for juking out their abilities, because imagine they're like you're 2 HP and Brand is a squishy target. Well, you don't want to die, so if he misses his W, then you can maybe just go and do a ton of damage, and then you're going to heal up at the same time. It can be used to outplay a ton. And another tip or trick that I want to mention is I've been seeing a lot of Akalis in videos. It seems like you guys don't get how to play, a lot of you guys don't get how to play against melee champions. And it's really simple, too, if you think about it. So imagine this is like a Renekton or something. When you're in Shroud, if he's on top of you, you don't want to pop out. You want to go to the opposite end and say, you know, now he's chased you again, he's on top of you again. You don't want to just proc your passive right next to him. You want to run away and then like do that and then run away again. You want to kite him out, let him do 0 damage, and then get it to the point where you're so healthy and he has such low health that he starts running away, and then you can start you know, letting him trade you back, because you already know you're going to win that fight because he's already so low off of you, outplaying him and juking him. Definitely don't just like do this and let him hit you with a WQ. I don't know. Anyways, I feel like that's just worth bringing up after a lot of videos I've seen. But let's move on to the next thing. Against ranged champions, here's a trick for catching them. Like, say you're bot lane and you want to, I don't know, catch the AD carry who's over here or something. Like, say you're taking the turret and then you see Caitlyn running up and she's like, oh, maybe I should be careful. Well, in that situation, you can actually do this. So we're going to imagine this is Caitlyn. She sees us and she can't run away, unfortunately, because she's a target dummy. But what you can do is you can actually use your E and then land a max range Gunblade. And at that point, they'll be slowed. Wait for the catch up a little bit more, because I think Gunblade has more range than your Q. So with that in mind, you slow them down, you get in range, hit them with your Q, and then they're slowed off of that, and then you can proceed to destroy them. Just a quick little tip, the double slow technique, I guess you could say, for catching out people. And then after that, you know, you could also just like go ahead and ult in and then, you know, really just one-shot them. So yeah, that is that. But yeah, guys, that's essentially going to be it for the mechanical combo guide. Hopefully it's not too long, but these are a bunch of really good combos that I wanted to share with you guys. And I'm probably going to copy paste this into the Ultimate Season 9 Akali guide. Guys, please put in a lot of effort into this, probably like 3 or 4 hours of writing out all the combos. So if you could please do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And also subscribe to the second channel, which I will link, which is for Akali gameplays only. So yeah, other than that, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I hope you're able to stomp everyone with Akali and solo queue, and have a good one. Peace.